The maid who fooled a rich family. What happened next? The morning the gardener was let go, the fountain sounded wrong. Hollow, echoing like it missed a beat. On the entry table, the velvet box that held my grandmother's jade comb had shifted half an inch, imprint in the dust like a missing tooth. I'm Sloane, 29F, home because Dad, Marcus, 61M, had knee surgery, and Mom, Rhea, 58F, still throws charity galas like they can prop up his denial. Lena, our live-in maid, brewed coffee exactly how Mom likes it. Citrus-clean kitchen, steam on polished stone, glove squeak on chrome. Traffic altered the florist's schedule, she said, eyes soft, a tiny shrug. She'd been hired 6 months ago after 3 references from a staffing agency and a glowing letter I never saw notarized. Backstory: I left to build a life in Boston, failed engagement, returned to help with the foundation's spring brunch. Money at stake, 7 figures in pledges, a legacy portrait unveiling. Lena knew the alarm codes, grocery vendors, Dad's meds, which donors prefer green juice over espresso. When the gardener texted me a screenshot, fired. Budget, she said. I felt the fountain's rhythm fail again. A citrusy draft lifted, an envelope stamped, house manager memo, staff restructuring. And inside the memo, a line that wasn't Mom's phrasing at all. Then I noticed my keycard log showed an entry I didn't make at 3:12 a.m. Foreshadowing lived in the small rewrites. The laundry schedule moved to Sundays, conveniently when Mom naps after church. A weekly supplies order added a new vendor, M&V services, vague and premium. 2 deliveries arrived by accident, a case of shelf-stable meals and a stack of unmonogrammed linens. Clerical mix-up, Lena murmured, thumbs dancing over her phone, screen face down on marble. She started suggesting efficiencies. Replace the florist with someone nimble, move valet to the side gate, add a temporary bypass for the east wing alarm because donors hate beeping. At breakfast, Dad's pillbox had the Tuesday divider popped. He swore he hadn't touched it. Maybe you misheard the doctor, Lena said, setting down grapefruit segments with a neat twist. Her boundary tests felt like silk gloves, subtle, frictionless, undeniable. The gardener's replacement never showed. The house handbook, our binder of vendors and permits, grew heavier with fresh pages in a different font. I asked for the notarized letter that got her hired. It's stored off-site, she smiled. I can get it after the brunch. The fountain sputtered, the elevator hummed, and my phone buzzed with another accidental invoice from M&V Services. The first blow landed the morning of the charity brunch. The caterer called while rain drummed the skylights. We're rerouted to a warehouse staging point. New permit instructions came overnight. Our city permit, renewed last week, appeared recalled in the portal. Mom's voice ghosted through the hall, thin and furious. What do you mean my guests are in a shuttle? The driveway app showed the main gate offline, forcing arrivals to the side entrance where our gate camera had a blind angle. Calm solutions, Lena said, hands folded, mic clipped to her collar. I authorized alternate transport. The valet union threatened to strike. Her calm felt rehearsed. Donor cars looped in circles on the cul-de-sac, hazard lights blinking like metronomes. The alarm panel flashed, service mode, east wing. I hadn't set that. In the study, Dad's safe, a dumb, old combination, sat invisible behind its painting. I dialed the code. Nothing. On the island, a laminated schedule appeared. New run of show, initials LA. At the bottom, unveil portrait at 1:07 p.m. Precisely. I stared at the timestamp on the PDF, amended schedule 1:18 a.m. A shuttle door slid open outside, and a stranger in catering blacks pocketed our gate fob. Trail of evidence came like crumbs. The rental company's rep laughed on speaker. Your house manager approved the swap yesterday. Same credit card. We don't have a house manager. A florist texted, invoice line, custom greenery arch, M&V pass-through, and a Venmo note. Thanks for rush, hugs and kisses, L. Our keycard log showed Sloane/master, pinging the pantry at 3:12 a.m. while I was asleep with my card on the nightstand. I found a printed handbook V2 with margin notes in Lena's tidy print. Move donors from East Wing. Cameras loop feed. Valet via M&V. Loop feed. I opened the NVR app. East Wing playback stuttered, then repeated 3 seconds like a stuck record. "Why are you in the server closet?" she asked behind me, voice small. She held a tray of lemon water, wrist steady. "You asked for extra ice," she added, smile not reaching her eyes. The caterer's new dispatcher forwarded a 2-line email. Per Alvarez, built a foundation card on file. Our foundation card requires 2 signatures. One looked like Mom's, but the serif on the R was wrong. A new floral assistant whispered while resetting peonies. She said we're comping the extra blooms. She had board authority. Public embarrassment bloomed at 1:07 p.m. The portrait veil snagged on a hidden wire. Mic feedback shrieked, and the projector screen dropped to reveal not Mom's speech, but a slideshow. Dad receiving an award next to a donor currently under investigation. Gasps ricocheted off polished stone. "We don't control that screen," I hissed to AV. "New inputs were added," he said, pointing at a text thread from House Manager LA. "Play file legacy 3_final. MOV. Mom's hands trembled as she gripped the podium. "Who authorized this?" she whispered. Lena stepped close, too close, straightened a cuff, soothing. "We'll fix it," she said. The system glitched. A donor's wife arched a brow and took a photo. Another guest murmured, "Is the gate stuck?" Our driver said he couldn't leave. The valet captain showed me a key ring with 2 fobs missing. I followed a cable behind the projector card and found a thumb drive nestled in gaffer tape. The label, M&V. When I turned, Lena was watching me through the glass door, her reflection overlapping mine like a double exposure. The confrontation failed in slow motion. In the butler's pantry, I laid out the artifacts. The handbook V2, keycard log, invoices, the thumb drive sealed in a zip bag. "These are your changes," I said. "Your family's workflows were chaotic," Lena replied, arms folding, thumb hovering over a lock app. "I protected your event." She didn't deny the signature. She questioned our process. "Didn't you ask for efficiencies? Didn't your mother say donors need smoother arrivals?" Dad's oldest friend barged in, red-faced. "She's the only one keeping this ship afloat," he barked. "Your generation thinks leadership is a feeling." The staff split into camps. Those who liked Lena's competence, those who whispered about midnight deliveries. I asked to see the notarized letter again. "It's in the storage unit," she said, blinking slow. "I'll bring it Monday." On the speaker, the gate intercom crackled. "We have a delivery for M&V services, signature required." When I looked down, the foundation card was missing from the binder where we keep it. Confidant enters. Theo, 34M, our head of security, found me by the elevator humming like a throat clearing. He pressed a folded napkin into my palm. Inside, a keycard log printout, showing LA/staff, ghosting through the East Wing at 1:13 a.m., 5 minutes before the camera loop. "She's smart," he said, "but not invisible." He slid over a still frame. Gate camera still 046. Lena's silhouette outside, accepting a small box from a man with a hat brim low. Chef Mara, 41F, added. She rerouted pantry deliveries to Tuesdays. Vendors changed names, but the drivers are the same. We pulled payroll. 2 anomalies. Overtime recorded for off-site inventory and a stipend to M&V listed as temporary house management. Theo's contact and permitting confirmed. No recall on our event permit. The notice was a PDF template with a mismatched seal. Mom watched from the doorway, eyes glassy. "Is this a setup?" she whispered. "Have we been staged?" Theo nodded toward the safe. "Try the old code backward." The painting swung. Inside, a sticky note. "Change code. Too many eyes." My phone buzzed. Update 1. 2 days later posted by user _Alvarez. We went fishing for a reveal and caught a net full of names. Theo traced M&V to a shell with an owner who'd changed her name last year. I messaged a former colleague in compliance. She sent back a group chat screenshot from a different city's homemakers forum. There she was, Lena's face under another alias, asking about household workflows, foundation cards, silent auction logistics. Someone tagged V. Theo recorded audio near the service entrance. We heard Lena murmuring to the same brimmed hat man. "No, not jewelry. Donor lists. They trade like gold." In HR's files, the notarized letter scanned at onboarding had a notary stamp that didn't exist in the state database. I confronted Lena with the chat. She slipped, just for a second, eyes flicking to the elevator camera, then softened. I grew up doing other people's laundry, she said, voice low. I learned how systems ignore certain people. I correct systems. By emptying them out. I asked. She smiled, sad and sharp. By making them pay attention. Theo's tracer pinged a bank account. A bank transfer, labeled M&V, consulting, hit every Thursday like clockwork. Consequences began with stilted phone calls. Lawyers. Insurer. HR. We opened the "Oh God" folder. NDAs, donor agreements, vendor contracts. Our counsel wrote a 2-line lawyer email. Preserve all digital evidence. Do not confront suspected parties further. The foundation auditor quantified exposure. If donor data leaked, reputational risk, severe, replacement value, high. Duty to disclose, probable. Mom wanted this to be quiet. Dad wanted it done. I wanted it documented. We listed what moved: safe code, alarm bypass, valet fobs, run of show, vendor consolidation, server access through a stealth auto-forward rule on Mom's email screenshot. Rule: forward donor to LA. We froze cards and suspended M&V. Theo drafted an incident report. Chef Mara cataloged inventory. The house felt too loud. Fountain echo, elevator hum, click-click of invisible cameras. Lena still worked, folding napkins into neat triangles, eyes on the intercom. She asked for Monday off to visit storage. Our insurer requested a sworn statement. What's her motive? The adjuster asked. I glanced at the transfer cadence, the shell registration, the forum alias. I realized our house wasn't the mark. Our name was the product. Fork in the road. Press charges and trigger headlines. Settle quietly and hope silence buys back trust. Or recruit her, dangerous, unethical, to run a sting on whoever was buying donor lists. We huddled at the kitchen island, citrus polish sharp in the air. If we go public, the foundation bleeds, Dad said, rubbing his knee. If we do nothing, we tell every Lena to try us, I replied. Theo proposed a third path, controlled disclosure to authorities plus a decoy asset. Let her think the whale is hooked, he said. Mom stared at the jade comb's empty box. We can't turn our home into a trap, she whispered. We already live in one, I said. We just didn't set it. We voted 4-2 for sting plus disclosure. Conditions: no illegal acts, no extractions beyond law enforcement. Stakes: our donors, Dad's board seat, the brunch's mess becoming a headline. I texted Lena. Need your help reshaping workflows. Urgent. Let's talk tonight. She replied in seconds. Of course. I can make time after staff meal. The plan depended on her believing I wanted her to keep rewriting us. Counterplan night. Rain traced the skylight. Fountain a steady base. Theo staged a donation ledger with decoy names and a single high-net contact. We set a fresh camera above the pantry at eye level, just another black circle. I invited Lena to the study and pushed over a house manager memo draft. Pilot program. Centralized vendor pass-through. You were right, I said, voice steady. We need a leaner lane. She read fast, thumb pressing the lock app in her pocket. You're quick, she murmured. Your mother's not. I opened a drawer and placed the decoy ledger inside, loud enough for the hinge to complain. This stays here, I said, until we brief the board. She glanced at the painting concealing the safe. Old habits, she said, half-smile. Theo watched the hallway feed. The elevator hummed. The fountain kept time. Lena left at 9:11 p.m., hands empty, expression neutral. At 1:04 a.m., the pantry camera caught a silhouette, small box tucked under an arm. The decoy ledger drawer sat open in the morning breeze of the HVAC. On my phone, a new auto-forward rule appeared without my touch. Public reckoning came as a meeting invite. Board review. Incident response. 10 a.m., followed by stakeholder brief. Controlled disclosure. We walked in with a packet, evidence index, and a quiet courage I didn't recognize. I presented. The keycard pings, payroll anomalies, vendor shell, forged notary stamp, audio snippet, donor lists, trade like gold. Lena sat at the end of the table, hands laced, blazer crisp. I improved operations, she said. Your vulnerabilities predated me. A director stared at the donation ledger. Copy. Why is there a decoy name labeled whale? Because we needed to see who swam toward it, I said. Theo played the pantry camera clip. A hush spread, broken only by chair fabric sighing. Our counsel slid a folder to Lena. We've notified authorities. You may contact an attorney. You are suspended pending investigation. She exhaled long. You think you're the only family buying respect? She asked softly. You think I'm the worst thing in this house? The door opened. An officer stepped in with a calm, practiced nod. Aftershock hit in waves. Online, a local blog posted a blind item. Charity house rocked by internal saboteur. DMs multiplied. Apologies trickled from guests who filmed instead of helped. A donor threatened to pull a pledge unless we named names. Counsel said not yet. We issued a statement. We identified an internal breach. We're cooperating with authorities. Comments divided between eat the rich and protect workers, missing the texture. How a person can both be exploited by systems and still exploit. We audited property. Nothing obvious missing, but jewelry appraisals flagged photos mismatched to our piece's microscratches. The jade comb reappeared in a different drawer, teeth wrong by one notch. Mediation attempted. Lena's public defender proposed restitution through cooperation, naming a handler, V. The brimmed hat man had a real name now and a record of flipping household data. Theo's contact said other homes had similar playbooks. House managers who never existed, shelves with floral invoices, and consulting. Mom stopped touching the fountain. Dad resigned from a minor board with a curt thank you. The gardener sent a picture of a new job, smiling behind roses. Resolution, or something like it. We set boundaries with steel cores, separate cards, dual approvals, vendor verification, camera audits, no single point of access. We paid staff fairly and rotated duties so no one person held all keys. We offered Chef Mara a raise and benefits. She cried, then told us which vendors to never trust again. Restitution. Insurer covered forensic costs. We recovered a fraction of diverted funds through chargebacks. Lena opted for cooperation. She mapped the shell network, provided chat logs, identified V. The DA carved a deal contingent on testifying. Family realigned. Dad took rehab seriously, knee and reputation both. Mom ceded some control to a professional firm. Vetted, boring, essential. I accepted a role at the foundation, not to polish our mirror, but to fix the scaffolding behind it. One evening, the fountain's rhythm steadied and I noticed sunlight laying across the portrait's varnish like a soft apology. We were lucky, Theo said. Luck we built by listening. A small box arrived without a return address. Inside, a single hairpin carved like a leaf. Under the tissue paper, a note in precise, tidy script waited. Reflection and advice. Here are my red flags now. Sudden efficiencies that centralize control, new vendors with generic names, accidental deliveries that normalize backdoors. Requests for temporary bypasses. Two good references with unverifiable stamps. Leaders who love being rescued. People who weaponize competence against scrutiny. Also this, the sound of a house slightly out of tune. Lena wasn't a monster. She was a person with motive, skill, and a story about fairness that included stealing. I can hold both truths while drawing lines. Systemic rot made us soft. Her precision made us bleed. Healing looks like checklists, not speeches. Like paying staff on time. Like a paper trail. If you run a household or a nonprofit, run it like it matters. Verify. Rotate. Audit. Give decent salaries so extra isn't a survival tax someone must invent. And when something feels off, an echo in a fountain, a glove squeak that arrives too late, believe yourself. The note in the box read, comb was a test. Ledger was a lesson. Choose better guards. I folded the note, then heard the intercom click and someone breathe in.